Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing very, very well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Also, don't forget, give me a follow on Instagram if you fancy it. Ade Oladipo is the Instagram handle. We are fast approaching 35,000 subscribers. So thank you so much to everyone that has recently subscribed. Remember, the target is 40,000 subscribers before the end of the year, which we're definitely going to do. So again, thank you so much. All right, what is there to talk about from the world of boxing? Quick update on the studio. Guys, I am leaving the studio. I have decided. Again, I think I mentioned this in a video a couple of weeks ago. I'm just not using the studio what I wanted to use it for. So initially it wasn't to do these type of videos. There was no point spending money on renting the studio to do this, what I do at home. It was to do interviews with people, but I've just got so busy. I've just got so busy that I haven't been able to do it. I think I've done 4 interviews in a year. And that's just not, it's just not worth it. So I was due to come back on Sunday from Nigeria, where I am now. I'm actually gonna come back a few days early just to get the wheels in motion because I do travel to America for GGG Canelo. So yeah, we are leaving the studio. I don't know if I am gonna go back into a studio. I might do. I might just rent a studio to do those interviews. I might do something like that. But in terms of me sort of filming day-to-day videos in the studio, we are gonna go back to my house. And I've already kind of, in my mind, designed a corner, which is gonna be quite cool with shelves and books and all sort of posters behind me. But yeah, that will happen in the next couple of weeks. All right, let's talk about Andy Ruiz, who beat Luis Ortiz by unanimous decision, dropped him 3 times. I've just watched the fight back. Good fight, first and foremost, good fight, right? I mean, I know we like to pick the bones out of it and say maybe he's done or he's not on that level, but it's just a good fight between 2 very good heavyweights. Luis Ortiz, his punch resistance is clearly gone. Wilder knocked that resistance out of him. But the knockdowns were all like at the top of the head, those sort of temple shots, which mess up your equilibrium. So I don't know if he was ever really hurt by the knockdowns. I think he was just buzzed by them. But I like Luis Ortiz. I've always liked Luis Ortiz. Fast hands, southpaw, big, strong at the weight, dangerous. But I mean, at his age now, and again, with his punch resistance clearly waning, I do wonder what's left for him in the heavyweight division. I think, look, there's still good fights. I mean, he's gone to points with someone that I'm going to talk about fighting all the good guys now. So there's still some fun fights out there, but maybe fights at that top level, the top table, I think that maybe is it for Luis Ortiz. For Andy Ruiz, this journey for me with Andy Ruiz started on the scales. I said I think Andy Ruiz should come in around 255, 260. I think he came in around 266. And some of you might say, what's the difference? It's only 6 pounds. I just feel like I need to see him at what I think is his best fighting weight. Like if someone was to say, okay, Andy Ruiz as the best Andy Ruiz that there can be, it wouldn't be 266 pounds. I can't accept that that's the case. It would be less than that, it would. As much as he's got fast hands and he's got fast feet-ish, his head movement was yesterday very, very slow. I thought his head movement was slow and he kept getting caught with that southpaw backhand. He got caught a lot, in fact, way more than I expected him to get caught. He was buzzed a couple of times as well, but I mean, he's got a good chin. Remember, before the AJ fight, he'd never been down before. So, well, as a pro anyway, I'm not quite sure about his amateur record. So he's clearly got a good chin because Luis Ortiz cracked him, and Luis Ortiz can crack. Luis Ortiz knows how to put everything into that southpaw backhand, but Andy Ruiz survived it, and in the end, we move on. I think one thing that was clear coming out of yesterday's fight, or should I say the early hours of this morning, is that he needs to stay active, Andy Ruiz. At times, I kind of felt like he let the rounds slip away just because maybe inactivity, maybe just a bit of cardio issues. But overall, look, it was a fun fight. It was a fun fight, and that's what we want. Deontay Wilder was ringside. He'll watch that and think, I would ice Andy Ruiz. Like, he would watch that and think, Andy Ruiz will cause me problems, but there will be a time when I catch him, like Luis Ortiz did, and if I catch him, there's a problem. But there are so many fantastic matchups for Andy Ruiz. And again, for me now, it's just staying busy. Like, the greedy guy in me should say, I want him to be out in January. I was going to say December, but it's not going to happen. January. and then I want him to be out again in July. Then I want 3 fights next year from Andy Ruiz. It's not going to happen. We're going to get 2 though, and if it's 2, let it be 2 really good names. Honestly, I love, and I mean it, I love the Dillian Whyte matchup. There was a time, I think it was either just before the second AJ fight, or maybe just after, those 2 were going back and forth on social media. I like that fight. I really do. I mentioned that I like the Wilder fight. The Wilder fight's a dream fight, and that's a big fight to make, so that probably isn't a next fight. But I like that fight. I also don't mind, and this might be a step down, and I can understand if it is for some people. I don't mind the winner of Hunter Fury, Michael Hunter, Hughie Fury. I like that fight as well. I like the winner of Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. So many. But we'll see what he does next. Look, there is a good fighter in Andy Ruiz, a very, very good fighter. He's tough, good hands, really throws good combinations. Like, his left hook is a thing of beauty. But I just need to see him more active. And for Luis Ortiz, as I said at the top, maybe the fights against the top guys are maybe done, but there's still so many good fights out there for him. You know, like in terms of he is a really, really good gatekeeper for the very sort of the guys that you want to see do next. For example, Daniel Dubois. With Frank Warren at this stage right now, chuck in Daniel Dubois with that Luis Ortiz. We know Daniel Dubois has got the power to hurt him, but we also know that from a boxing standpoint, Luis Ortiz is a much better boxer and will set traps for Daniel Dubois. Could be a very good gatekeeper. Could be. All right, let's see what else there is to talk about. Sticking with the heavyweights very quickly, Frazer Clarke. I'm liking Frazer Clarke, by the way. There's not many people, boxing people, that are as honest as Frazer Clarke. And he pretty much attacked the matchmakers for his opponent on the weekend. Like, what am I doing fighting these type of guys? Like, what's going on? And I like that. Frazer Clarke needs to be fast-tracked quickly. What are we doing? Why are we hanging around? He almost needs to look at what Joe Joyce did in those type of opponents. Joe Joyce fought really good opponents early. He needs to look at that. But I do like the fact that he was quite honest with his level of opponent. Liam Smith got the win as well against a guy whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce right now. I think Johnny Nelson was quite firm in saying that his opponent dived and didn't want to know. Maybe I'm not quite sure, but that's what Johnny Nelson said. Obviously, the weekend coming, we've got Savannah Marshall versus, let me correct it, Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall, Alicia Baumgartner versus Michaela Mayer. If I do come back early, so I was initially supposed to come back on Sunday. If I do come back early, I am going to go watch that fight, 100%. I'm going to reach out to someone as soon as we finish this and see if they can get me a couple of tickets. I really, really want to be ringside for that. I think that's going to be 2 epic main events, or co-main and main. I've always stuck with, I think that Clarissa Shields will beat Savannah Marshall, just because I think Clarissa Shields is the better boxer. I actually think she has underrated power as well. So I think she might shock Savannah with her power. But look, if Savannah catches her, that Savannah can hit, boy. She can hit hard. And as for the co-main, I think Maya's too good for Baumgartner. I know people are very high on Baumgartner, and so am I, because of what she did against Terry Harper. But Michaela Mayer is a very, very big fighter, very strong at the weight, and I just think like she's the better boxer of the 2 as well. And I know people will think that Baumgartner hits harder. I'm not convinced, not sure about that. I'm not 100% sure, but look, it's a great co-main as well, so we'll see. What else is there? Isaac Cruz knocks out Eduardo Ramirez in second round of WBC lightweight title eliminator. Everyone seems to call out Isaac Cruz, but no one seems to fight Isaac Cruz. Like, Ryan Garcia was supposed to fight Isaac Cruz, and that would be a good fight for Ryan next, but now Ryan said he's standing at 140. Isaac Cruz caused Gervonta Davis a lot of problems. And since that, it's almost like, let's avoid him a bit. Let's avoid him. It's a bit like Mauricio Lara. No one really wants that. Like, the rewards are not big enough. Well, I say that, Lee Wood is obviously taking the fight, but we'll see. A good win here for Charles Martin. Stopped Devin Vargas in the 4th round. He's not going away, is he, Charles Martin? He's another one now that's a good gatekeeper. Again, if I'm trying to figure out what next for Daniel Dubois, I think Charles Martin isn't a bad name. Get Charles Martin over to the UK. You know, Charles Martin talks a lot of smack. Former world champion. I know, he won the world belt in weird circumstances. Do you remember when his opponent sort of hurt his leg? But but he's a former world champion regardless. And this sort of second coming of Charles Martin isn't too bad. He's a decent fighter, and I like that matchup. So I think him versus Daniel Dubois is a good fight. So we'll see what happens with Charles Martin. Anything else here to talk about very quickly? Eubank Jr. warns Ben that super middleweights, heavyweights couldn't drop him. The closer this fight goes, the closer I think something crazy could happen. Again, when the fight was first announced, all my money was really on Eubank Jr. just because of the size thing, right? And the confidence, and I felt like he'd done really, really well in the press conference. I thought he dominated that press conference. But I don't know, man. I really don't. I mean, we know that Ben's been sparring super middleweights as well, and middleweights. I do wonder about that weight clause. To get down to 157 pounds and then you can't rehydrate past 168 is a bit crazy, honestly. And how serious is he taking it? I know he likes to play the game, and I know that I've been with him a couple of times, and he's, I saw him in Saudi Arabia, I saw him at the O2 Arena recently. I don't believe that he's not taking this seriously, but I still don't know if he's taking it as seriously as Conor Ben. I'm not convinced. And even though he's, acting up when he says, I need to be a 60%, there is something about me that he's taking this a bit lightly. Like if this was him fighting GGG or Canelo, I think it's a different Eubank. I don't think he goes to Saudi Arabia. I don't think he does a show with me, a KSI event recently. I just don't think he does. So just based on that alone, I think he's maybe underestimating Conor Ben, maybe. But we've only got just over a month. It's not long, just over a month. And I am working on that event, so looking forward to it. Really am looking forward to it. Andy Ruiz, before we retire, I would love to fight Joshua again. We have unfinished business. I guess they do, it being one apiece. I think even Joshua would maybe want to, like Ruiz stopped Joshua. Joshua went to points with Ruiz. So there's there might be something in that where Joshua's like, okay, let's run it back. It's always going to be a big fight. That in the UK is a big fight. That in the US maybe is a big fight. I like it. We'll see. Eddie Hearn responds to Wilder about Joshua deal. On what planet would you not even ask what that offer is? Someone needs to remove Eddie Hearn here from the negotiations when it comes to Wilder versus Joshua. Like completely remove him. Don't even let him talk about it. Like let Frank Smith deal with it or someone at DAZN deal with it. Because potentially that fight could happen just because there's so much money on the table still. Even with neither of them being world champions and neither of them being unbeaten. Both of them have suffered defeats, big defeats recently. Still a big fight. Still a lot of money to be made. But I don't feel like that fight can happen with Eddie Hearn negotiating it. It's just not going. We've seen it before. We've seen it. There was probably more money on the table a couple of years ago, and I think even Eddie at the time said he had to remove himself from the negotiations, and I think John Skipper, who was at DAZN at the time, was dealing with it and still couldn't get made. So I don't know, man. Andre Ward here views a Sergey Kovalev win as his proudest moment. Yeah, of course. I mean, Sergey Kovalev, when Andre Ward fought him, was a killer, an avoided killer. 100% his biggest fight, biggest. I thought Chad Dawson was a good win. Carl Froch, Super 6 tournament, good win as well. But you'd have to say Sergey Kovalev. And hopefully, the first fight he's talking about, that's Sergey Kovalev then, especially after he got dropped. The way in which he got dropped was crazy. Tyson Fury, I'll be fighting in December with or without Usyk. So he's now back. I'm guessing he's now back, right? Okay. Why don't you fight AJ? I know it sounds crazy, and I'm just saying it. Just put it this way, my mind was saying it, I didn't want to speak it. But look, I mean, the funny thing is, there has been a fight recently. Well, not recently, but I'm sure there was a big name fight where the guy took the fight off, like Floyd fought someone who was coming off a loss. It might have been Zab Judah, I think Zab Judah got beat by Carlos Boldemir and Floyd fought him after. Let me just double check that. Obviously, look, I'm not even saying that AJ and Fury should fight. I'm saying that Fury said he's coming back in December. Who's he going to fight? We might do a separate video on that. But I'm pretty sure, I'm right, I knew it. Yeah, he fought Carlos Boldemir and lost his WBC welterweight title. And then he fought Floyd next for Floyd's IBF and IBO, or the IBO was vacant. So it has happened in the past, and Floyd was a massive name. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't as big as what Fury and AJ are now, but it can happen. You can get a big fight off a loss, but it obviously isn't going to be Anthony Joshua. I do wonder who it will be. I mean, he's got so many options. If he's serious about this, so many options. I don't think he fights in December. I think he waits until February, March for the Usyk fight. But strange. He's such a strange human being. Fury's so strange. I've retired. I'm done. Chisora, what's going on? I've retired. Usyk, do you want to fight? I've retired. Okay, fuck it. None of you want to fight? I'm fighting in December. I thought you retired. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. Congratulations to Dan Aziz, by the way. I haven't watched this fight, but Dan Aziz got the decision of Shakan Peters. Again, I haven't watched it, so it's difficult for me to talk about it, but I think it's time now that he gets the opportunity to go. Like, you know, we continually talk about, you know, and I do it myself, right, with the Boatsies and the Yards and the Callum Smiths. Now, I'm not trying to say that he's on that level, because I don't know, because we haven't seen him fight that level. But I think it's time that he goes and fights that levels now. I think Dan Aziz is like 32. Let's have a quick look. He deserves an opportunity to go, man. Dan Aziz is 33. 33. Just turned 33. Go. Just go. Let's give him a fight. Give him a fight against a top level 175 pounder. If he loses, he loses. But give him an opportunity. He deserves it now. Anything here? Last couple of bits, people. Callum Smith, anxious to begin another title reign. I want that belt. Not going to be easy, my friend, because Dmitry Bivol has one belt and the other guy is Beterbiev. I think Beterbiev versus Callum Smith would be fun, especially this new Callum Smith that's a lot more aggressive. That'd be fun, but he's also liable to get knocked out because of his aggression. Although, I think Callum Smith does have a good chin. I can't think of a time when he's been badly hurt like that. Not like that, so we'll see. I think it's a good fight. He's very, very big still. Even at 175, he's massive at 175. And I feel like Buddy McGirt just made him a bit more offensive. I think he's got a better chance against Dmitry Bivol, personally. But we'll see what happens with the belts. We'll see what happens, how they spill out. Obviously, looks like Yard is going to fight Beterbiev, I think, before the end of the year. Maybe sometime in December, I was hearing about. And obviously, we've got Bivol versus Ramirez. So after that, we'll see what happens. For me, personally, if Bivol wins, or even if Ramirez wins, I want to see undisputed. That's all I always want to see. I want to see who's the number one in the division. And if Ramirez, who will be 45-0 if he beats Bivol, he deserves to fight Beterbiev. 45-0, you deserve to fight Beterbiev. All right, guys, I think that is it. Let's just quickly look at this. Bivol, I don't need rematch with Canelo, maybe to earn money, but not my main goal. I like it. Doesn't. It's Canelo that needs to chase Bivol. If I'm Bivol, I'm like, I don't really need to fight you again. I've shown what I can do. I thought he comfortably beat Canelo. I've got other challenges. There's so many challenges at 175 pounds. Think how many challenges there are. People waiting in the wings. Yes, none of those people will pay the money that Canelo pays, but still big fights. Still big fights. He said after the Canelo fight, I want to become undisputed. I don't need the rematch. So he's chasing that. And then if it becomes undisputed, then it's a case of maybe, okay, let me start earning some money. Let me have some fun fights. But for now, no. All right, we are done, people. Are we done? Yes, we are done. Peace and love.